All right, and welcome, fellow adventurers, to our show we call Mysteries in the Dark. The curious adventures of Luna Sparks and Omar Trekker. I am Luna Sparks, and with me, as always, is the equally curious, sometimes skeptical, but always game, Omar Trekker. We love to share mystery adventure stories from our childhood.
That is so true, Luna. We certainly have some interesting stories to share with you. And just to clarify, skeptical is my superpower. Someone's got to ask the tough questions when Luna's already halfway up a tree looking for clues, right?
Ha! Fair enough. But honestly, after our last escapade, the case of the midnight whistle, I think we both caught what I like to call the curiosity bug. And once you've got it, there's really only one cure, isn't there?
More exploring. And usually, it calls right when I'm about to settle in with my favorite comic book and a warm mug of hot chocolate. But you know, it's hard to resist when adventure beckons.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened a few weeks after the whistle mystery. Do you remember the mystery of the Moonlight footprints? As I remember it, the night was just perfect. Cool, super clear, and the full moon was out, shining like a giant flashlight in the sky. My cat, Cosmo, was totally sacked out on the porch swing, practically snoring, when suddenly, thump!
Oh yes, Luna. I remember that one. It was loud, too. I was actually in the middle of a really intense superhero showdown in my comic. My initial thought was, please don't be something exciting. Please just be a branch.
But my brain immediately went, mystery? Adventure? I just gasped, Omar, did you hear that?
I did. I definitely did. And I distinctly remember replying, I heard it. But I was hoping you didn't. Because, you know, it was late and my bed sounded really inviting at that moment.
No time for beds when there's a thump to investigate. I grabbed my trusty flashlight, practically shouting, come on, adventure calls.
And I, ever the brave sidekick, mumbled something about adventure calling at bedtime more often than not, but followed anyway. My curiosity always wins out eventually, even if I complain a little first.
Which is why we make such a great team. So we tiptoed really quietly through the garden gate, past my mom's pride and joy, her prize-winning roses, and rows of tomato plants that looked like shadowy giants in the moonlight. The grass was just shimmering, glowing silver. Everything was so quiet, you could almost hear your own heartbeat.
It was eerie. That kind of quiet where every little sound feels amplified, and then your flashlight beam just danced over something on the ground, and you froze.
I did. I remember whispering, Omar, look. And there they were, in the damp soil. A whole trail of footprints. And they were, well, they weren't like anything I'd ever seen.
No, they weren't. Some were big, some were small, but the shape, they didn't look like shoes or paws or even claws. They were kind of star-shaped, weren't they? Almost like tiny snowflakes had gone for a walk, leaving little imprints.
Yes, and that's exactly what I thought. I remember tilting my head, completely captivated, and saying, maybe it's from a rare animal, or a visitor from outer space.
And I, ever the practical thinker, squinted and pointed out that if it was a visitor from outer space, it had really, really small feet. Not exactly the intimidating alien invasion kind of size.
A valid point, but the coolest part, they weren't just shaped weirdly. They shimmered, like they'd been sprinkled with glitter. It was so pretty and so mysterious. We just had to follow them.
Yeah, even I couldn't resist. The glitter trail was like a beacon for our curiosity. We followed them past the garden fence, across the yard, heading straight for the big oak tree at the back.
Each step was thrilling. My heart was pounding, wondering what we'd find at the end of this sparkling path.
And I was definitely thinking, do you think it's safe? Because, glowing footprints leading into a dark tree at night, that's prime horror movie material right there.
And I, being me, just cheerfully said, "Nope, that's what makes it fun. You have to embrace the unknown, Omar."
I try, I really do. We followed those glittering prints until they just stopped, right near the base of the big oak tree. For a moment, everything was totally still again. And then...
Rustle! Snap! It was like something was moving right above us. My heart leaped into my throat. We both just froze, didn't we?
Absolutely frozen. I remember whispering, "It's in the tree." My imagination was going wild. Was it a giant squirrel, a mythical creature, or, one of those small-footed aliens?
I swung my flashlight upward, my hand shaking a little, and then, there it was. A pair of wide, glowing eyes staring right back at us. Oh, that moment of pure suspense.
Yeah, we definitely both locked up. It felt like an eternity, those eyes just watching us. And then, with a soft hoot,
a plump little owl blinked down at us. And the funniest part? One of its feet was perched right in a bucket of spilled glitter. It was Mrs. Pepper's pet owl, Hooty.
Oh, the relief. I honestly think I wiped my forehead. All that suspense, all that alien speculation, and it was just Hooty getting into Luna's art supplies. Well, I remember saying, that explains the footprints. Glitter and owl toes, a classic combination. Which, of course, it's not. But it made perfect sense in that moment.
I just burst out laughing. It was too perfect. The mystery of the Moonlight footprints solved. Hooty must have knocked over my bucket of glitter and then just wandered around the garden, leaving a trail of sparkly evidence.
Exactly. And once again, curiosity triumphs over confusion. It's never quite what you think it is it? We sat there under the oak tree for a bit, still laughing about our alien encounter.
It was such a fun moment of realization. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the right one, but it's always worth exploring the possibilities.
Definitely. I remember telling you, Luna, I think we're becoming professionals at finding mysteries that aren't quite what they seem. And I still think that's true.
It is. And that's the best kind, honestly. Every mystery, whether it's a midnight whistle or glittery footprints, teaches us to look closer, to listen carefully, and to never, ever stop wondering. It keeps life interesting.
Plus, they go great with snacks. Let's be real, a good mystery-solving session always works up an appetite.
Oh, you and your snacks, Omar. I rolled my eyes, but I couldn't help giggling. I think I even asked, "All right, Snack Inspector, what's next on your list?"
And I produced the goods. Leftover marshmallows. Nothing beats marshmallows under a glowing moon after solving a mystery. It just hit differently that night.
It really did. We just sat there, sharing marshmallows, with Hooty hooting softly in the distance, probably off on her own adventures. Another mystery solved, another adventure shared.
And plenty more to come, I'm sure. Our curiosity bug is definitely still thriving. Who knows what we'll stumble upon next time?
I can't wait to find out, and neither should you, our amazing audience. Thanks for joining us on this sparkly adventure. Stay curious, everyone.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep those eyes peeled and those minds open. This has been Omar
And Luna.